For Your Sweet Sake by James Ephraim McGirt. Read for LibriVox.org. Born like the pines. Born like the pines to sing the harp and song in my breast. Though far and near there's none to hear, I'll sing as the winds request. To tell the trend of my lay is not for the harp or me. I'm only to know from the winds that blow what the theme of my song shall be. Born like the pines to sing the harp and the song in my breast. As the winds sweep by, I'll laugh or cry. In the winds I cannot rest. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Mystery. Read for LibriVox.org. I do not know the ocean's song, or what the brooklets say. At eve I sit and listen long, I cannot learn their lay. But as I linger by the sea, and that sweet song comes unto me, it seems, my love, it sings of thee. I do not know why poppies grow amid the wheat and rye. The lilies bloom as white as snow, I cannot tell you why. But all the flowers of the spring, the bees that hum, the birds that sing, a thought of you they seem to bring. I cannot tell why silvery Mars moves through the heavens at night. I cannot tell you why the stars adorn the vault with light. But what sublimity I see upon the mount, the hill, the lea, it brings my love a thought of thee. I do not know what in your eyes that cause my heart to glow, and why my spirit longs and cries. I vow I do not know. But when you first came in my sight, my slumbering soul awoke in light, and since the day I've known no night. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Spirit of the Oak. Read for LibriVox.org. The spirit of the oak am I, with head uplifted to the sky. Though hail and storm beat in my face, through weal or woe, I hold my place. With head uplifted to the sky, the spirit of the oak am I. Birds I've sheltered many a year, they hear the storm, desert in fear. The strenuous seagull strives to stay, but at last his heart gives way. He stretches forth his feathered form, and sails to heaven above the storm. Devoid of every earthly friend, I stand undaunted till the end, with head uplifted to the sky, the spirit of the oak am I. And when the raging storm is o'er, my feathered friends return once more, and find me standing calm and free. They chirp aloud and sing with glee. With outstretched arm I bid them rest. I hold no malice in my breast, but welcome every passer-by. The spirit of the oak am I. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Homesick. Read for LibriVox.org. Sittin' by de window, gazin' at the snow, up here in de Northland, no friends dat I know. Lord, if I was dere, peaceful, happy Georgia, tired of de rip and tear, sick ob ways a city. No one here to talk to 'bout de joy I seen. Speak ob 'possum huntin', don't know what you mean. Banjo lying idle, not allowed to play. People in the next room too much noise, dey say. Write for a ticket, dat ould be no use. Sent me one last summer, sold it like a goose. Way too long for walkin', snow a fallin' too. Lord a mercy on me, what am I to do? Come here, little banjo, lie close to my ear. I'll just pick yo' easy so dem fools can hear. What you say, de postman, letter here for me? No, I just can't believe it, and me let me see. Yes, dis is her writin', ticket to have come. Come on, little banjo, come, I'm going home. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Des for Day, read for LibriVox.org. When for years you've been tryin', and the thing for what you tries, as you reach your hand to take it, this moves off before your eyes, and you're through side your shovel like you ain't goin' work no mo', and you wonder where's old Gabriel, what's the reason he don't blow. Then you want to work the harder, for I's allus heard him say, the darkest hour des for day. Course it's hard to keep on runnin' when the stake keeps movin' way, and to have to mind for workin' when you think they ain't no pay. But perhaps when clouds are blackest and the world seems at its worst, that it all comes on purpose, maybe it for warnin' us, then you want to work the harder, for I's allus heard 'em say, the darkest hour dis for day. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. My Soul's at Rest, read for LibriVox.org. Just 'bout dark I come home ploddin', tired and roasted from the sun, though I worked from mornin' early, seems Mataz has never done. Then it's when I sit there scowlin', Dinah smooths my brow and say, Ephraim, yo's brought nothin' with you, child, you can't take nothin' way. And she reaches me my banjo, and I lay it cross my breast, for my troubles all forgotten, and my soul's at rest. Soon de spring come on a smilin', I gin frettin' 'bout de grain, for my little garden parchin', and my crop is needin' rain. Then it's when I sit a scowlin', Dinah smooths my brow and say, Ephraim, you's brought nothin' wid you, child, you can't take nothin' way. And she reaches me my banjo, and I lay it cross my breast, for my troubles all forgotten, and my soul's at rest. Some these days, till all be over, I will lay me down and sleep. Dinah, honey, don't you worry, tell the people not to weep. Then it's when I lay a-sleepin', smooth my brow as old, and say, Ephraim, honey, I will meet you round the throne of God some day. Take my banjo from the ceilin', lay it softly cross my breast, for my troubles will be over, and my soul at rest. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Inspiration, read for LibriVox.org. Oven when the race I'm runnin', child, my feet gets blistered so, that I have a notion fallin', 'pears I just can run no mo'. Then I gin to think o' Liza, wid a smile upon her face, standin' at the gate waitin', just to see me win the race. And I start out wid new courage, for to win the race or die. Well, I feel just like a feather. Man, I fairly fly. There are times when courage leave me, and I throw my burden down. Something says there's no use tryin', seems I just don't won no crown. Then I begin to think of Liza, and I wonder what she'd say if she'd come along and find me in the gutter by the way. And I gather up my burden, and I start with all my might, for my limbs at once grow stronger, and my load gets light. Clouds may gather dark as midnight, matters not the cause of fate. All I want to know is Liza waitin' for me at the gate. Thorns and thistles lose they terror, hill and mountains melt away. Though the world seem dark and dreary, at the thought 'twill turn to day. For when I think of Anner Liza, all the world gets clear and bright, and my limbs they grow much stronger, and my load gets light. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Century's Prayer. Read for LibriVox.org. Lord God of hosts, incline thine ear to this thy humble servant's prayer. May war and strife and discord cease this century. Lord God, give us peace. The thoughts of strife, the curse of war, henceforth, dear Lord, may we abhor. One blessing more, our store increase. This is our prayer, Lord, give us peace. May those who rule us rule with love, as thou dost rule the courts above. May man to man as brothers feel, lay down their arms and quit the field. Change from our brows the angry looks, turn swords and spears to pruning hooks. One blessing more, our store increase. This is our prayer, Lord, give us peace. May flags of war for air be furled, the milk-white flag wave o'er the world. Let not a slave be heard to cry, the lion and lamb together lie. May nations meet in one accord, around one peaceful, festive board. One blessing more, our store increase. This is our prayer, Lord, give us peace. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Anna, Won't You Marry Me? Read for LibriVox.org. Anna, child, the spring is come. Listen to the robins dear. The honeysuckles are in bloom. The fragrance fills the air. A dove is cooing, soft and low, telling how he loves his mate. For you the flowers seem to grow. For you they seem to bloom and wait. 2 by 2 the sparrows build, high up in the orchard tree. Anna, 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 won't you marry me? Anna, oh, ho, ho, the aching of my heart. It seems, my love, I'm bound to go if we have to live apart. My heart, says Anna all the time, love, I'll die for thee. Anna, 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 won't you marry me? 'Member, love, the vow you made when out in the orchard dear. The stars can witness what you said. The moon was sailing clear. You promised, love, that you'd be mine, promised in the early spring, and now the bees are round the vine. Everywhere the songbirds sing, in every flower I see your name. Everywhere it seems to say, Anna, Anna, this is our wedding day. Anna, oh, ho, ho, the aching of my heart. It seems, my love, I'm bound to go if we have to live apart. My heart, says Anna all the time, Anna, 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 won't you marry me? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Spring. Read for LibriVox.org. I rise up in the morning, early in the spring, and heard de bees a-hummin', and heard de robins sing. There come o'er me a feelin' so queer, I know not why. I just sit down and listen. It seemed I most could cry. The wind has lost its biting around de vine, de bees. The air is full of fragrance from blossom of the trees. I stroll out in de garden and take a look about. I see de ground a crackin', the seed has gone to sprout. Beneath de vine a blossom, all dried and curled it lies. A striped little melon is hangin' for my eyes. It's den I gin a hummin' and join de birds and sing. My heart is full o' rapture and grandeur of the spring. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Warrior's Judgment. Read for LibriVox.org. A warrior stood before his master, bruised and bleeding from the fight, not for power, neither honor, but in battling for the right. Torn and tattered was his body, gashed and wounded was his face. Stood he waiting for the master to assign his resting place. The master gazed on him in pity, saw the form which he had made, once like his, now so distorted, gazed into his face and said, "Tell me, son, is this the body that I gave you for a while? Given you so pure and holy, you return it so defiled." "Master," said the trembling soldier, "in yonder world where I have been, daily I've encountered battle with the daring monster sin. Each step I fought my journey through. He strove to keep me from the goal. Though he scored me, yet I conquered. Master, he's not scarred the soul." The master saw the soul still shining, thought of his own hand and sighed, beckoned to the brightest heaven that the gate be opened wide. Then the master cried, "Immortal," the soul came flashing from his breast, pointing to the fairest heaven, "Enter thou in peaceful rest." End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Uncle Israel. The people call me a conjure, just 'cause I do some tricks, and 'cause I got this lucky black cat bone, can gather roots to make tea wit. Not less dey talk o' that, dey scared o' me and say I tote lodestone. Done care what I do, noble, no matter how I work, dey say de lodestone done it just the same. Like when I took Lucindy way from de Fesser Jones, dey up and said I got her wid some scheme. Let somethin' happen to de neighbors, let one o' them get sick, for it old Israel got to bear de blame, just 'cause I got those goofer and a rabbit foot or two. They say I do most everything they dream. Sometime they talk so scandalous, it gets me all upsot. When worrin' over what they say, I wanna take my goofer as everything I got, and let the people see me throw 'em away. I gather them together and put 'em in a pile. I gin to think about the needy day. I think what they'd do for me, and get mad wid myself for worrin' over what the people say. For when I gin a thinkin' 'bout what might come o' me, can help the tears from comin' in my eye. One time the world was 'gainst me, and friends had turned their backs. My rabbit foot and goofer stood right by. You call me what you want to, and just don't bother me. I'm goin' to keep the things that brought me through. You talk of mothers teachin', but what they don't for me is much as any mother'd ever do. I used to mark the path that run from master's door, and every morning he would have to cross the lodestone in my pocket. I done just like I pleased. Most everybody thought I was the boss. When master'd cross the mark, you see him meant to smile. To get with me, it always made him proud. I made the women love me, and long as I was there, nobody ever hurt one of the crowd. When I go out a-courtin', I goofer up my hands and put a rabbit down in my shoe. No man on earth can beat me a-winnin' of the love, for when I meet the girls this way I do. Make out I'm glad to see them, and grab 'em by the hand, be rubbin' lodestone on 'em all the time. No use in tryin' to soon me. I'm goin' to win your love, for if I want you, I can make you mine. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. If Loving Were Wooing. Read for LibriVox.org. If wishing were getting, wouldn't it be fine? If loving were wooing, Alice, thou wouldst be mine. Neither wealth nor honor, nor gem from the sea, can cause such a yearning as I have for thee. What need of a ruby when your cheeks I see? Those gems 'neath your lashes are diamonds to me. Your forehead's a sapphire, beaming 'neath a curl. Your lips seem a rosebud, hiding 2 rows of pearl. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Winter. Read for LibriVox.org. Oh, the winter's coming. Leaves are getting brown. Hickory nuts and acorns falling to the ground. Pumpkins getting yellow. Persimmons getting ripe. Opossum begin to fatten, and quails begin to pipe. Bird dog in the broom sage. Hunter's got his gun. Erastus with old trailer. Opossum's better run. Turkeys in the corn crib. Chickens got their sway. Let 'em be. They're fattening for Thanksgiving Day. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Siege of Manilla. Read for LibriVox.org. Just a few miles from Manila Bay, near the close of a summer's day, when the sun was flooding with gold the west, our fleet was ordered to stop and rest. After the regular meal was served, and the code of evening was observed, each retired to his usual place, and gazed into the dome of space. With awe they watched the steady blaze, as down on us they seemed to gaze. I never shall forget the night. The silvery stars were shining bright. A full-orbed moon hung in the west, as if to see the great contest. The wind was of a peaceful gale. It was a pleasant night to sail. The ocean waves were rolling long, appealing forth a mournful song. But soon from the sea a mist arose that caused the story-book to close. When sable night had reigned her last, the rosy morn was coming fast. Within the glimmer of the day, we sailed to take Manila Bay. Soon the fort revealed in sight, from out the windows gleamed a light. And then when we saw the deadly gun, a-glistening in the rising sun, it seemed that fire came in our blood. Like tigers by our guns we stood. It seemed our souls would burst with ire, while waiting the command to fire. In perfect silence, not a breath, an instant could have brought us death. The mist that from the ocean rose had hid us from our Spanish foes, and when the enemy sent no sound, a whisper 'mong us passed around. Fortune's with us, our captain cried. We've entered in and are not spied. By the fort we 'gan to start, a distance though we sailed a port. One by one our ships stole by, as wolves before a shepherd's eye. All of our fleet had safely passed, except McCullough, which fortune blessed. Within its furnace cured a rick, and sparks went flying from its stack. The sparks that from the ship did fly met all at once the fort men's eye. Through glasses they began to peep, their glasses raised the cause to greet. To their surprise they spied our fleet. A cry of terror, a dash, a run. The shells came blazing from each gun. Before an instant hardly passed, around us shells were falling fast. Their mines in vain they did explode, but we were safe in our abode. Our captain gave command to fire, which seemed to be our soul's desire. Before the words he could repeat, the shells went blazing from our fleet. Our hearts were burned with hatred, ire. We filled the air with shell and fire, while the battle was raging high, and glowing shells were falling nigh. Dewey back through memory gazed, saw the main, became enraged, and with his dazzling sword in hand he whirled it high, and gave command, with fury blazing from his eye. With thundering voice was heard to cry, "Remember the main! Speed! Haste! Be careful, boys! No shells to waste!" Remembered we our blood did run, and sent shells flying from our gun. Our boats like burning Vesuvius seemed, from out our guns shells poured and streamed, directed by an immortal eye, for not a strayward shell did fly, but each of the shells from the guns that went performed the mission on which 'twas sent. Our captain took his glass in hand, and o'er the battle quickly scanned. "Stop the guns!" he quickly cried. "Fortune now is on our side. The Spanish fleet is in a blaze, and sinking fast before my gaze." When this command to us was given, 3 hearty cheers went up to heaven, and when the sun sent down her sheen, not a Spanish boat was to be seen. The valiant fleet of tyrant Spain beneath the mighty deep was slain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Signs of rain. When your corns and bunions aching, and your body's full of pain, you can rest right sure and certain that we's gonna have some rain. 'Cause the aching is not pleasing, though I wish it must be, but not 'cause I love to hurtin', but I know I'll get some rest. In the winter I go huntin', when the ground is white with snow. In the summer I go fishin', when the ground's too wet to plow. Do you hear the dogs a-barkin' like they's struck a raccoon trail? Show sign of fallin' weather, child, I's never seen it fail. Run out, Jacob, look back southward, and see if there's a cloud in sight. Goshy, what a clap of thunder! Clouds are hanging black as night. Jacob heard the rain a-fallin', pitter-patter on the roof, folded his arms and looked at Hannah. "Now you see I's told the truth." Daddy in the chimney corner, "Jake, I hear you wishin' rain." "Yes, sir, Dad, the garden parchin'. Don't you think 'twill help the grain?" End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. No Use in Signs. Read for LibriVox.org. There's no use being scared of conjures and letting black cats turn you back. You just go on about your business and let the conjures have your track. For Friday ain't no wuss than Monday, as far as luck to you's concerned. You hand may itch, don't spit into it. You won't get nothing but what you earn. Your nose may itch, no one is coming. Your foot may itch, you'll go nowhere. and you can let the worms crawl o'er you, and then no new dress get to wear. And 'cause you have a little learnin', you need not try to figure rich. Just go and get a spade or shovel and go runnin' to the ditch. And when you feel a little happy, don't think of all the grief you've had. And 'cause your eyes is tremblin' little, that ain't no sign you're goin' get mad. And if the toe next to the big one is kinder long, you ain't goin' rule, because my hair grows on my forehead. You need not take me for a fool. I'm going to sing soon in the mornin'. The hawks may catch me before night, but if they do, you need not worry. Just say, I bet they had to fight. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Lullaby, Go to Sleep, read for LibriVox.org. I'll ne'er forget the day when I was young and gay, a-rolling round the floor in Tennessee. From the cotton field so white, my ma would come at night and fondly hold me in her arms and say, Go to sleep, baby mine, little birdie in your nest. Humming bees have left the vine. Go to sleep and take your rest. In winter, cold and chill, at night when all was still, I'd wake to find her standing over me, a smile upon her face, a creepin' round the place. She'd tuck the cover over me and sing, Go to sleep, baby mine, little birdie in your nest. Humming bees have left the vine. Go to sleep and take your rest. So many years have passed since we assembled last. That dear old soul has gone away to dwell. If this whole world was mine, the wealth I would decline, if I could only hear my mother sing. Go to sleep, baby mine, little birdie in your nest. Humming bees have left the vine. Go to sleep and take your rest. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. God Bless Our Country, read for LibriVox.org. God bless our home, land of the free, and those who rule, whoe'er they be. Protect the flag and let it wave over all free men, not the slave. May we, dear Lord, sustain its name, forbid that it shall trail in shame to those who from oppression flee. May this our land a refuge be. May we sustain all we profess, forbid that we should man oppress. May we accept fraternal love, and live as we must live above. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. True Love, read for LibriVox.org. How true, dear, my love is, too great to compare, truer than the stars that shoot from their sphere. Think how the sun sets and withdraws its light. Think how I love thee alone in the night. Think of its rising, how it varies in time. Oh, there is no varying in this heart of mine. True as a rock, then, how could I this say, when softest of waters can wear stone away? Even time must change to eternity. Oh, there is no changing in my love for thee. True as eternity, no, it's not begun. All must start even when a race is to run. When old eternity becomes mossy and gray, then, dear, I'll love thee the same as today. Fear not that pale death will drift us apart. Ah, death cannot sever the love in my heart. When we reach heaven, we shall find our own. I'm told we will know there as we are known. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Weep Not, read for LibriVox.org. Weep not, friend, o'er your condition. He who tries can find a way. labor and to God petition, strive, and you will rise some day. Let your steps be sure and steady. Push ahead and never stop. Though the field seems filled already, there is room still at the top. If you wish to climb life's ladder, start to climb it from the ground. If great your strength, it makes it sadder to have to climb it round by round. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Memory of W. W. Brown, read for LibriVox.org. Dear Father Brown, the great, the good, the noble leader of our race, with task complete his spirit fled to heaven, its final resting place, and there in peace it shall remain, securely wrapped from care and pain. His body 'neath sweet roses sleeps, an angel o'er him vigil keeps. Weeping for one so dearly loved, too soon it seems we had to part, to see him hid beneath the clay. Sharp sorrow fills the aching heart. It seems I see him on the stand, fain I could hear him give command, and with his outstretched loving arm, imploring people to reform. Think of the great work he has done. Behold the great reformer's hand, 10,000 marching to and fro, to seek, to help, to lend a hand. Thy life has not been spent in vain. Thy deeds are monuments of fame. Thy name from earth will ne'er depart. 'Tis graved with kindness on the heart. No more to meet us here on earth, the noble impulse thou hast given will urge us on the mighty course until we too are called to heaven. Beneath the clods, is it the last? Oh no, the memory of the past. As Bethlehem's star the wise men led, his light will lead us though he is dead. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. When the sun shines hot, read for LibriVox.org. No, there ain't no use o' workin' in the blazin' summertime, when the fruit have filled the orchard and the berries been divine. There's enough to keep us libbin' in the little garden spot, and there ain't no use in workin' when the sun shines hot. For I's read it in the Bible 'bout the lilies how dey grow. It was put in there a purpose dat the workin' men mout know dat dis diggin' and der grabbin' wasn't meant in our lot, and there ain't no use in workin' when the sun shines hot. Does you hear the streams are callin' as it crawls erlong the rill? Does you see the vines a wavin', biddin' me to come and fill? Where's my hook and line? Say, Hannah, give me all the bait you got, for there ain't no use in workin' when the sun shines hot. 'Tis 'bout dark I come hum, strollin' wid a venture lovely trout. Hannah she commence her grinnin', little Rastus 'gin to shout. Soon the hoe cake is her bakin', fish her fryin', table sot. No, there ain't no use in workin' when the sun shines hot. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Experience, read for LibriVox.org. They told me that the path I took was hard, that many a time my weary feet would bleed. They said at last I'd find my way was barred. I would not heed. They bade me stop and go the other way. This path, they said, fate thorns and thistles strew. But I was young, ambition led the way. I thought I knew. But when my bleeding feet came to the end, and I was bound and scourged by cruel fate, alas, I cried, pray let me start again. It was too late. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Success. Read for LibriVox.org. Success is a light upon the farther shore that shines in dazzling splendor to the eye. The waters leap, the surging billows roar, and he who seeks the prize must leap and try. A mighty host stand trembling on the brink, with anxious eyes they yearn to reach the goal. I see them leap, and I see them sink, as gazing on dread horror fills my soul. Yet to despair I can but droop and die. 'Tis better far to try the lashing deep. I much prefer beneath the surge to lie, than death to find me on this bank asleep. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Defeated. Read for LibriVox.org. Vain and defeated each effort of life, feeble and hoary, sick of the strife, but yet in my bosom a spirit says, rise, a voice calling onward out of the skies. Though wounded in battle, bleeding I lay, I hear the voice calling and strive to obey, and make my last effort the battle to gain. Ah, death is upon me, I struggle in vain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. I Shall Succeed. Read for LibriVox.org. I shall succeed, although fate rules today, and heaps up thorns and thistles in my way. I bear the yoke and tread them with a smile, for I am sure it is but for a while. Each day that dawns I strive to break the chain, although today it seems so massive strong. Although it seems my labors are in vain, I'll strive and wait, it matters not how long. For like the drip that falls upon the millstone, so soft it strikes at first it seems but play, but drip on drip a tiny dent will come, return at length and find it washed away. Thus will I beat fate's chains, though strokes be feeble. To hasty men it all may seem but play. The hand of man, though soft as drops, is able to wear at length the hardest stone away. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Rosy Dawn. Read for LibriVox.org. From out the rosy dawn the sun comes forth. See, love, what robes of splendor dawns the sea. So is my soul hallowed with joy and love, gleaming from thee. For when at morn I stroll along the path, there I behold thy beauty from afar, and like the rosy dawn it fills my soul. I stand in awe. Look, love, the rosy scene is in the west, and soon this world shall be in solemn night. So will my soul, if thou shouldst, like the sun, withdraw your light. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Song of Love. Read for LibriVox.org. A song I sing, a blessing so divine, which all can feel, yet no one can define. It comes like hallowed glory from above. We feel the joy and call the blessing love. Just as we know when zephyrs in the rye We cannot see still how we mark their way. Just so it is when love meets you and me. We bend and sway. For who can hide the love that's in his breast? He only feels, though known by all the rest. For when love comes, the gall is changed to sweet. It brought the valiant Hector to its feet. Just as love brought the heroes kneeling down, she leads the world quite gently with her sway. No need of lash, just simply smile or frown. We will obey. Yes, love can lead her victim just at will. Greater the pain, greater he loves her still. Through thorns and thistles till his feet are sore, she bids him stop, he cries to follow more. Just as a bird must know the limbs secure before she comes to build on it her nest, so love will nestle when she finds us true, deep in our breast. Just as we bruise a pear to make it sweet, so love will bruise her victim with her feet. It shoves the baby eagle from its nest. Before it falls, her wings go 'neath its breast. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Thanksgiving Prayer, read for LibriVox.org. Lord God, I turn on this Thanksgiving Day to view the path o'er which I've made my way. Although a path of thorns my eye may greet, although I feel the sting still in my feet, although the harvest fail my barn to fill, with grateful heart I bow and thank thee still. For I am sure whate'er has been my lot, how meek, how poor, is more than I deserve. Unto thy will I bow and murmur not. I'll not condemn his justice whom I serve. I'll not complain and call thee, Father, stern, because thy sacred plans I've failed to learn. The cause of all this grief I cannot tell, and yet, like Job of old, I'll not rebel. Lord God, I turn on this Thanksgiving Day to view the path o'er which I made my way. Although a path of thorns my eye may greet, although I feel the sting still in my feet, although the harvest fail my barn to fill, with grateful heart I bow and thank thee still. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Love, read for LibriVox.org. So oft I've read what poets sang of love. To feel their joy for years in vain I sought. At last love came, a cooing little dove, the joy it brought. And since the day when I first sipped the wine, I felt the song I would all men could hear, though vainly I've sought for word and rhyme to make it clear. To teach this song, love only has the power. To mortal man, the door is sealed, though near. Some day the door will open, you'll discover love's song and hear. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Right Will Win, read for LibriVox.org. Think not, my friend, if right be crushed today, that violent wrong will ever hold the day. A noble cause aside the kings may toast, if it be right. Oh no, 'tis never lost. Know ye, the stone the builders first refused was left alone, but at the top was used. God stopped and called the leper from the cross. He cannot use the haughty and the proud. From out the stagnant pool he makes to grow the fragrant water lilies, white as snow. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Victoria the Queen, read for LibriVox.org. O victorious Queen, it's through thy loyal grace I bring this wreath, a token from my race. True, thou art gone, no more on earth to meet. I come to spread these lilies at thy feet. Of all the wreaths brought from the floral shrine, this wreath alone portrays the life of thine. These many years thou wert before our sight, so calm and kind, so pure, serenely bright, like glowing sunlight seated on thy throne, giving us rays, withholding them from none. One soul, one God, has been thy sacred theme. The high, the low, their cries were heard the same. Rest on, grand soul, in perfect peace above, for thou wert love, and love must rest with love. Even though we weep, though sorrow fills our breast, we do not wish to call thee from thy rest. A star, though quenched, thy light is shining still. Thy voice, though hushed, thy subjects know thy will. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Life and Love, read for LibriVox.org. Life is a boundless sea on which men float. Succeed we may to ride the waves of fate, yet still within our paths there surely lies the chasm death, the voidless ultimate. Love is a sacred shrine to which men kneel. Succeed we may the blessing to attain, yet rest assured the hallowed joy it brings, e'en though sublime, somehow is tinged with pain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Slothful Youth, read for LibriVox.org. Beside the road in youth I sat in slumber. The passers hailed and told me it was day. But ah, said I, my days are great in number, and soundly slept, regardless of their say. Now here I sit, the night has come upon me. I fain would go, but darkness hides my way. I turn to God that he would look upon me. I've now forgot the prayer I used to pray. Yet while I sit and vainly wait the morning I yearn to tell, but ah, it is too late, that he who sleeps at day and fails the warning shall wake at night the dreadful ultimate. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Quest, read for LibriVox.org. Tell me, my soul, tell me, I pine to know, some future day, known as the harvest time. Am I to reap from all the grain I sow? My ill-wrought deed am I to claim as mine? If I should hurl my javelin in the dark, and spread out thorns and thistles along the way, will it return and find me as its mark? Am I to tread the thorns some future day? O Lord, I pray that thou wouldst guide my hand. Let not an evil seed by me be sown, or cause to sprout within a brother's land what I should hate to see within my own. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Signs of Death, read for LibriVox.org. When you hear at night de cows a lowin', and dogs a howlin' out der mournful sound, I tell you now, you better get you ready. Dey's goin' to plant somebody in de ground. You need not believe in signs, not less you want to, but some of dese morn you'll wake up in surprise, and if dem dogs come howlin' where I'm sleepin', I tell you now, dis darky's goin' to rise. If there's any doubts of bein' ready, down on my knees a prayer I'll make. You can laugh and say dat darky's skeery. I'm like a rabbit, can trust no mistake. It may not be for me de dogs a howlin', but when de howl my path I'm goin' to sweep, and I ain't goin' to bed no mo' dat evenin', for death will never come and find me sleep. There lots of learned people talking bully and saying there's nothin' in de signs, but if dey come around me with their learnin', I'm just a goin' to tell 'em they're a lyin'. I's got no time to listen to their learnin', for dey is just a tryin' to show off smart. There ain't nobody don't care how dey's learnin', that's got de signs all wiped out of de heart. For learnin' never takes from man his habits, it only smears dem over wid a stain, and 'cause you're learned, you is not an angel, dem same old traits are lurkin' still within. I know I'm learned as high as anybody, yet when a chicken coop I'm passin' by, there come to me again dem same old feelin's. I'm goin' to have dat chicken 'cep he fly. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Sailor's Departure, read for LibriVox.org. My dearest child, I have no wealth to give you, no ring of gold to you can I impart. Going, yet why should going grieve you? You have my heart. In calm, in storm, no matter how the weather, my one great thought shall ever be of thee. Tell me, I pray thee, tell me whether you'll think of me. Without your love, I wish my burden lighter. With head bowed low, I plod life's weary way, but with your love each day is brighter. To toil is play. The ship is come, I must no longer tarry. The lamp of love for you will ever burn. Farewell, pray let your soul be merry. Soon I'll return. When I return, whate'er may be my treasure, that happy day, I pray God that we meet. My life, my all, I'll cast with pleasure down at your feet. He said goodbye. The tears were swiftly falling. The ship moved off. She left alone to dwell. The signal as they sounded pealing their last farewell. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Test of Love, read for LibriVox.org. The land of Avia, lovely is the scene, clothed every evening in a silvery sheen. The rippling brook and birds make music clear, while flowers bloom in plenty all the year, and mistletoe's the largest tree that's found, its roots embedded firmly in the ground. In vales of missile, long the Aztec shore, stand board-roofed huts, numbering but a score. The largest one is Hagar's, well in years, no happier man in all the place appears. His daughter Alice, simple, pure, and good, and loved by all in that fair neighborhood. Of all the youths that came to woo her love, no voice but Ed's could cause her heart to move. Ed Lassiter's, son of a magistrate, was loved by all, and no one could he hate. In peace and love he served the village long, and no one e'er complained he'd done them wrong. And Ed, his son, a steady, sober youth, was famed throughout the village for his truth. Alice loved Ed. When children it was seen that Ed loved her, and held her as his queen. Together they were always seen at play. Whate'er she willed, it pleased Ed to obey. My doll, a house, was all she had to speak. For sticks and bark at once Ed went to seek. To bake mud cakes, more water she demand. Ed quickly brought and placed it at her hand. In all their play they were not seen to pout. Always in love, there was no falling out. Each day to school they hand in hand would go. Her books and slate Ed carried to and fro. Each Sunday morn the chapel bell would chime, and Ed with Alice marched away on time. To church at night Alice alone he'd bring, and from one book both in the choir would sing. The childish love that bound them when at play, to greater love soon yielded up its sway. Were children once, but oh, no children now. Ed was a farmer, master of the plough. Alice a maid, how skilful at the loom, and all affairs pertaining to the home. Once close they lived, but now 3 miles apart. But miles cannot divide true heart from heart. The village lads loved well the maiden dear, but knew their love and would not interfere. So hand in hand through life they always went, so lovingly, so happy, so content. But ah, if he had known the pain to come, he would have had her safely in his home. To Avia came a family seeking health, a noble family, great too was their wealth, a man and wife, a son, the darling joy, John his name, and handsome was the boy. He saw the maid, and love came at the sight. To win her love he sought with all his might. Soon she loved John, and soon he loved the maid. So swift is love, when gold can give it aid. And since that day the youth came from the north, Ed's cloak of love had keenly felt a moth. Ere on his face there dwelt a heavy frown. Each day he passed his head was hanging down. And all the village wondered as he passed, what made the change, what made him so downcast. Each Sunday morn he strolled alone to church. We sympathized, we knew it grieved him much, as when the ivy from the oak we tear. It seemeth lonely, ah, it seemeth bare. So 'twas with Ed when they were seen apart. He seemed ere sad, so withered was his heart. He loved her still, and each time he would call, he pled in vain that she would love him all. Each night Ed called, each night both lovers met. They'd try in vain each other to outset. When on her face Ed read her heart's desire, he'd ask his hat, reluctantly retire. Poor Ed from youth could see her any time. Now once a week his visits were confined. Each youth desired the maid to be his bride. She loved them both, and how could she decide? 3 months had passed, the choice she had not made. With bashful face she sought her mother's aid. She hinted out the burden of her heart. Her loving mother knew the other part. "Oh, Ed and John," she said with trembling voice, "I love them both and cannot make a choice. 3 months in vain the choice I've tried to make. It's left with you, mother, which one to take." The mother thought a while, and slowly said, "I cannot choose the man for you to wed. For much is in the saying of the bard, make your own bed and keep it if it's hard. So make your choice. If he's not what he seems, on no one else can you well place the blame. Since I'm your ma, advice 'tis mine to give. With whom you choose through life, pray try to live. For they who wed and quit without a cause have broken o'er our holy Father's laws. Unless you can for him lay down your life, never, my child, consent to be his wife. For married life is greater than a dream, and all have found it greater than it seemed. To know the one whose love is pure and best, I think it right to bring him to a test. How can you judge from the word the greater love? Does rain tell all that it has seen above? What steed an empty wagon cannot pull? I'll place him to a wagon that is full. The many words, but ah, the simple few, can have a great effect if spoken true. The sweetest words make not the greatest youth. Ah, he is great who sayest but the truth. The world today is so enwrapped with sin that it is right with women and with men. Before they be exalted in our sight, we must have great assurance they are right. So Ed and John seem good, I love them well. The one for you to choose I cannot tell. The way to find the one to suit you best, put life at stake and give them both a test. For he who takes a maiden for his wife should count it joy to give for her his life. She knew that neither Ed nor John could swim. To try the deep would be a test for them. She thought how each of them enjoyed to row. She said, "Some day, while rowing, drop your oar, and tell him, bring the oar, you'll be his bride. First let the oar 'neath the boat betide. Engage them now, go quick and tie the oar. One came at 3, the other came at 4. I feigned to tell them what the mother said, so great the plot, when by a woman made. She set the time, and John and Ed complied. The evening came, and John was by her side. With John she goes, as though she loved him best, out in the boat that she his love might test. From youth she knew the art to dive and swim. 'Twas all a secret, 'twas not known to him. They reached the deep where angry billows roar. She for a purpose dropped her only oar. Out from the boat the oar the waves did toss. The maid screamed out in anguish, we are lost. The oar was fairly whirling by a wave. The frightened maid knelt praying God to save. The coward youth sat trembling, pale as death. His face had changed, it seemed he had no breath. The maid knelt still, pretending loud to weep, but through her fingers at the youth she'd peep. She saw the youth still fainting in dismay. She would have laughed, but thought she would betray. She raised her head, the oar again she spied. Beneath the boat the oar with cord was tied. She really cried, for lo, her face was red. "John, bring the oar, I'll be your wife," she said. But John sat still, for he could not obey. "I cannot swim," was all she heard him say. She bade him think, she bade him count the cost. "Without the oar, won't both our lives be lost? If you sit here, is death not sure?" she said. John knew it was, and cowardly dropped his head. With trembling voice she cried, imploring still, "Go bring the oar. If you won't, John, I will." "What will you do?" She paused to give him time. He would not go. She leaped into the brine. She sank and rose, and loudly came a sound, "Pray come and help. Quick, love, for soon I drown." John saw his love the third time disappear. She cried in vain, for John refused to steer. Again she rose and quickly seized the oar. Towards the boat the oar she swiftly bore. Soon in the boat, dripping, she took her seat, as John sat cowardly, gazing at her feet. Then to the shore she quickly made her way. She reached the shore, to him was heard to say, "The oar wasn't lost, by this thread it was tied. My life to you I'm thinking to confide. And this," she said, "I did it just to prove whether or not you're worthy of my love." She told him all, and said, "John, can't you see that you are false and do not care for me?" And John stood crying, begging not to tell. She vowed she'd not, and said to him farewell. He went his way, and she sat on the beach. I'll tell you why before the end is reached. 'Twas nearly 4, and Ed, her other beau, had promised then to meet her for a row. The hour had come, the village clock was heard. Ah, Ed was there, he always kept his word. Up from the beach she rose, her friend to greet. She had not heard the tramping of his feet. Soon in the boat they both sat face to face. She took the oar, as though out for a race. Then with the oar she gave the sea a sweep, and soon the boat was sailing on the deep. "Here comes the ship. Look, Ed, I see the top." He turned his head, the oar she did let drop. "Dear Ed," she cried, "pray take me to my home. I dropped the oar, and death is sure our doom." He gazed at her, and saw her faint away. "Don't cry, my dear," she softly heard him say. He raised her head, consoling words he speaks, brushed back her hair, and kissed her rosy cheeks. Pretended she, unconscious of a kiss, yet still her soul was thrilled with holy bliss. He raised her gently in a fond embrace, and gently wipes her tear-stained, blushing face. The tears upon her rosy cheek repose, appeared like sparkling dewdrops on a rose. As men in hurrying, pressed for want of time, can find a moment still to sip the wine, so hurried Ed, for fear the oar he'd miss, yet still found time, yea, thrice her lips to kiss. Just as a man is moved by sparkling drinks, performs an act before of danger thinks. The kiss affected Ed as strongest wine. He could not swim, yet did not fear the brine. He did not stop for once to count the cost, nor thought he once that either would be lost. He said unless his queen should reach the shore, out of his arm he would have made an oar. Then from the boat he leaped and could not swim. An angry wave came quick and covered him. Strangled he rose, though struggling for his life. He cried aloud, "O God, pray save my wife." He did not drown, for she well knew the art, and leaped and bore him speechless to her heart. Hold of the cord the oar she quickly drew, yet brought the oar she said he never knew. He really thought he saved his lover's life. he woke and cried aloud, "You are my wife." For when he sank he was a senseless elf. Today he thinks he brought the oar himself. And when she saw how artless was his love, the love within her heart was felt to move. Where there is love, much love it doth inspire. Thus blazed her love and set his soul on fire. It seemed as love her heart would sunder rent, unless by hasty means could give it vent. For when love's heart is free from doubt and fear, it saith much that love would fain to hear. Thus went the time, until the glowing west was telling that the sun had gone to rest. They reached the shore, though he was soaking wet. Before they left, the wedding day was set. 3 weeks passed on, the blessed eve drew near. The wedding bells were chiming loud and clear. That night they vowed to love and serve through life. There never lived a happier man and wife. In Missel still today there can be seen a thatch-roofed house twined round with ivy green. Upon the lawn a boy and girl at play. This is the home where Ed and Alice stay. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Balm for Weary Minds. Read for LibriVox.org. What a balm for the minds the joyous spring, what fragrant nectar its breezes bring. How the babbling brook and the birds we hear lull the heart from worry, the soul from fear. What magnet power its measures hold to keep the soul from growing old. What joy upon the turf to lie and watch the fleeting butterfly, to hear the bee as it buzzes by, the humming bees as they go and come, sipping honey from the bloom. Wake, fainting heart, around thee look, stroll through the woods, sit by the brook, and hear it clatter, laugh and sing, a flood of hope to you 'twill bring. Look, see the orchard, a mass of snow, sending the fragrance by the winds that blow. Drink deep of its joys, on its fragrance fill, that thy soul may stand cold winter's chill. Look at the daisies, see them bend, giving their fragrance to each wind. The lilies in their lovely array, think of the words the sowers say. Toil not, spin not, yet how they grow, so fragrant and spotless and whiter than snow. List to the thrush up in the trees, the song of the cuckoo, the hum of the bees. The tame and wild flowers drink deep their sweet scent. Surely thy sad heart will then be content. On springtime's fair bosom rests thy aching head. Who cannot feel springtime surely is dead. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Tell Me, Deep Ocean. Read for LibriVox.org. Tell me, deep ocean, why not be still? Why not this surging cease? Why shouldst thou sing this mournful sound, and why not hold thy peace? Is it a tale of love you sing? Tell me, O mighty deep, what some poor sailor bade thee bring, just as he sank to sleep. If so, I yearn to know thy song. Pray make it known, O wave. I had a lover, brave and strong, who met a sailor's grave. I yearn to know his parting words. Were they not told to thee? If so, I pray thee, make them known. Pray tell, were they of me? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Should I Spy Love? Read for LibriVox.org. If I should chance to spy love far at sea, with outstretched arm beckoning unto me, though I bereft complete of spar and sail, 'twould not prevail. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. If Love Could See. Read for LibriVox.org. If love could see each other's heart, and read the truth which they impart, much doubt and fears it would relieve. No love would e'er have aught to grieve. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Temptation. Since I got legend, trying to do what's right, devil just to tempt me, keeps old sin in sight. Farmers plant their melons, jam up 'gin the fence, leave the hen coops open like they got no sense. Man who owned the orchard done move off to town, peaches and the apples rotten on the ground. In a trap this morning by the 'simmon tree, saw a great big possum, fat as he could be. Would have got the possum ef he'd never know that this trap caught him. Got a 'ligion, though. People got no business for to tempt a man. Fusin' watermelons more than I can stand. If they's out there waitin' to night when I come 'long, they shan't teach no other Christen to go wrong. Sally, bake a hoe cake, get the kittle hot, go and bring back a chicken if I don't get shot. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Appreciations. Read for LibriVox.org. I find in Mr. McGirt's verses a meaning and accent which belong only to the true poet, Mrs. Rebecca Harding Davis. Mr. McGirt's poetry is spontaneous, natural, and true. Mrs. Margaret E. Sangster. My dear Mr. McGirt, your verses indicate talent. I see no reason why you should not have a great deal of success. Sincerely yours, Mrs. Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Mr. James E. McGirt, dear sir, you show in these verses a talent for putting thoughts into literary form, very rare. I found the sentiment of the poems always pure and orthodox, often sweet and touching. There is a simplicity about them which wins the reader's attention. I remain sincerely yours, Julian Hawthorne. You show a great deal of talent in your poems. I find them very interesting and sweet. Thomas Nelson Page. Mr. James E. McGirt, Philadelphia. My dear sir, I've given some spare hours to the reading of your poems, which you were kind enough to furnish me in volume and manuscript. It is always gratifying to me to find one of your race aim to advance or excel in literary efforts. I was specially pleased with the merits of your poems, which should certainly command a large circle of readers, not only among your own people, but among all lovers of genuine poetic effort. Yours truly, Colonel A. K. McClure. End of appreciations. This recording is in the public domain. End of For Your Sweet Sake by James Ephraim McGirt.